We're going to get straight into it today, and we are talking about how you can get out of a rut fast. I think a lot of us are in the same boat at the minute because there's been a lot of things going on in the universal forces. There's just lots of potent energies around this time of year, especially when we are going into a different season. And I feel like this kind of energy can sometimes manifest into us being in a rut and feeling like we're a bit stagnant and we don't know how to proceed forward and get out of this rut. First of all, do the next best thing. This one is a bit of a mindset shift, a perspective shift, and it's going to help you get out of the rut that you're in. I think a lot of the time we aim for the best possible thing that we can do that will get us straight to our outcome that we want, but that is very difficult to attain. We think that it's the big steps that we need to take in order to get to where we need to be, but actually it's the small incremental steps that we take in order to get to where we want to be. So when we are trying to make these big leaps and these big moves, before we're ready, before the universe is even ready to put us in that situation, we are just going to be met with resistance, with failure, and we're going to feel even more stuck. However, if we take on this mindset of doing the next best thing, rather than feeling like we need to do everything perfect and we need to wait until we are perfectly ready before we start any kind of project or anything that we want to do, if we take the approach of doing the next best thing, we are going to be essentially taking one step at a time, and it's going to guide us onto the right path and get us to where we want to be. However, if you are just overwhelmed by the big steps that you need to take to the point that you're probably not even taking them because they're that daunting, you're just staying stuck and you're not doing anything. It is so much better for you to do the next best thing than to do nothing at all. Now, let me explain what I mean by the next best thing. So, an example personal to me is that I have spent my whole life wanting to live in a city. I have known that I want to live in a city my entire life. London, New York City, either of those, they're the ones I want to live in. So at the beginning of this year in particular, I started on the hunt again, trying to find jobs in cities and trying to find apartments that would be within my budget and things like that. And I was trying for like a good few months. I was really applying for so many jobs that I was more than qualified for, but for some reason I wasn't hearing anything back. And this was at a time in my life where I had gotten sick to fucking death of living in my family home around people who were just stressed out all the time, who were triggering my inner child wounds, and I just felt like it was really hindering my life. But being in this mindset of thinking like, right, it's either move to a city or stay here, I was staying stuck. I wasn't moving forward at all. And it was only up until March this year where I had this epiphany where I thought, right, I know that I need to move out of this house. I know that this house is suffocating me. I know that I need to spread my wings and fly. How am I going to get myself out of this house? First things first. Rather than thinking the only way I can get out of this house is by moving to the city, I decided to do the next best thing, which was move into a house closer to home. This was something that terrified me, and I really didn't want to do it because I always vowed that I would never settle down in my hometown. Like, I didn't want to get into that comfort zone and I didn't want to be stuck in this town. But the reality is that I was stuck in my hometown anyway and nothing was happening. I was trying all of those years to move to the city and nothing ever came of it. So once I actually made that step of doing the next best thing, honest to God, like everything just started to line up for me. I started seeing synchronicities. Everything started just flowing with so much more ease. Everything about the moving house process was so effortless. Like, this was the third house that we viewed, and we wasn't even really going to view it. We wasn't taking it too seriously. And we just knew instantly that this was the house that we needed to move into. And yeah, there's just been so many synchronicities, so many things that have shown me that I'm in alignment and that I have made a good decision by doing the next best thing rather than just staying stuck in my family home and in an environment that did not serve me. I wanted to share that example with you guys because I know that for me, I honestly put off moving for so long because I thought it has to be a city or it has to be nothing. And in making this move, I have unlocked a new level of myself, a new version of myself who is so much more peaceful, so much more free. I feel like I am glowing from the inside out. I just feel a lot happier and more content and at ease, and I feel like I'm in a better space to be creative and work towards my goals and dreams, which I wasn't when I was at my family home. Sometimes doing the next best thing might look completely different to what you want in the end result, but it's actually going to get you closer to where you need to be eventually. And I think this all boils down to the physics fact, that if something is in motion, it will remain in motion. But if something is still and stationary, it's going to remain still and stationary. So if you're in a situation that you don't like and you want to get out of it, rather than thinking of the big picture and how you are going to move to this Pinterest city girl apartment, why don't you just scale it back and think, what can I actually do? What is the next best thing that I can do that is going to get me that little bit closer to that goal? Set yourself non-negotiable baseline routines. This is something that has really changed my outlook on life, and it's changed the way that I show up in the world. Rather than focusing on the big steps that you need to take in order to show up as the best version of yourself, so for example, going to the gym 5 times a week, and if you can't do that, then you're not going at all. Rather than doing that, and rather than setting these really stupid, unrealistic goals and expectations for yourself, you need to make a very, very easy and achievable baseline routine. When I'm talking baseline routine, I am talking like 5 minutes in the morning where you just stay off your phone. The first 5 minutes of the day, you're not on your phone and you are looking directly into the sky. Maybe not the sun, but like you're looking outside, you're in nature, whatever. Or maybe you make a promise that every single morning you're going to drink 1 glass of water, because that is 1 glass of water more than what you usually would have drank. Maybe that is telling yourself that for 5 minutes every single day, in the morning maybe, you are going to do a 5-minute yoga practice, or you're going to do a 5-minute stretch. Starting off so small is the key here, because you know that it'll just be a couple of things as well. Like you can just choose a couple of these things, but you know that doing these couple of things is going to keep you grounded even in the most difficult of times. You will know that even if you are going through it, even if you feel like shit, you know that you can do a 5-minute stretch, or you know that you can drink 1 cup of water. Creating this baseline routine is really just going to keep you grounded, and I think it gets you moving, it gets you doing something, rather than staying stuck and feeling like, oh, well, I need to wait until I've got the energy to go to the gym 5 times a week, otherwise there's no point at all. That is not the point here. If you're wanting to stretch or whatever, or go to the gym because you want to lose weight, you need to shift your perspective into, I want to exercise and move my body because I know that it regulates me. I know that it's keeping me accountable, and I know that I am showing up for myself, even if it's for 5 minutes every single day. You are going to see such better results from doing this, from sticking to a small baseline routine, rather than telling yourself that you are going to copy these influencers who have the extravagant 5 a.m. morning routines where they fucking do everything. They meditate, they pray, they go to the gym, they do Pilates, they do everything. Like, no, it's not attainable, it's not achievable, especially if you're a normal girly who works like a 9-to-5 job or works any kind of job. It's not the same thing. You cannot be doing the same thing as these influencers, and I think sometimes we need that reminder, because we will feel bad that we can't live up to the standards of these influencers and we can't stick to these really extensive 5 a.m. morning routines, but we don't live the same lives as them. So why would we? Number 3 is to move your body. This sounds really annoying. It sounds like another bullshit tip that people give on the internet, and I know it's annoying, but it's so important. I think when we are in a routine of not moving our body and not doing anything, we can forget how it feels to be consistently moving our body all of the time. I know for a fact that when I'm not moving my body and when I'm not doing anything, even if it's literally, like I said before, a 5-minute stretch, I feel frazzled and I feel like my nervous system is so dysregulated, and I'm setting myself up essentially for failure every single day because I'm not moving my body, I'm not regulating myself in that way. We need to move our bodies. It is something that is so important, but it's something that a lot of us don't do. Most of us have sedentary jobs where we're sat at desks and we're not really moving about a lot, we're not getting many steps in, so we have to make a conscious effort to move our body every single day in some sort of capacity. I mentioned this in my last video, but I was watching Hailey Gamber's video and she was talking about how she will prioritize the gym, even if she's doing work and she's not finished it yet, but then it rolls around to the time that she said she was going to go to the gym. She will stop doing her work and she will go to the gym regardless of whether or not she's finished it or not, because she knows that it's going to make her feel good, and she knows that it's good for her mental health, it's good for her body, her health and fitness, everything. So she will prioritize that and she'll make time for it. And she was saying how she could always make excuses, of why she's too busy to go to the gym, because she always has things to do. She wouldn't have time for the gym if she didn't make time for it. So we need to start making it a habit to start intentionally making time to go to the gym, or to go for a walk, or to do a 5-minute stretch. I know that when you're in a rut, sometimes you don't have the energy to do maybe like a gym workout or a Pilates class or something. So starting small, like I said before, just doing that 5-minute stretch or just walking around the block, it is going to make such a difference over time. And you might not see a difference straight away. You might think, what the fuck was the point of that tiny little walk that I just went on? I don't even feel any endorphins from it. But when you are consistently doing it every single day, trust me, it makes a difference. Number 4 is to ground yourself and connect with yourself. This is honestly probably one of the first practices that goes out the window when I am gradually falling into a rut. I just lose the connection with myself. I lose that relationship with myself because I'm not dedicating enough time to actually sit with myself and understand what's going on up here and in my body. Over the summer, I have been really extremely busy to the point where I have not been able to dedicate that time to myself, or I have been able to, but I just haven't. And it's really had an impact on my mental health and the way that I show up in the world. I felt really creatively stuck. I felt like I've been in a rut. I felt like my limiting beliefs were so much stronger because I wasn't intentionally tapping in with myself and getting to know myself more every day. When I talk about grounding yourself and connecting with yourself, I feel like one of the best tools to do this is journaling. And again, it's another bullshit tip that people talk about. And I don't think it is bullshit, but I'm just saying that for the sake of the cynics out there. But when you are getting everything on your mind, off of your mind, onto paper, you are releasing it and you are allowing yourself to not feel the need to relive the stories over and over again because you feel like you need to remember them. You don't feel the need to hold on to past hurt as much because you know that you've had that outlet of releasing them. And I think it just allows you to be very introspective, and it allows you to see your shortcomings and where you go wrong in life and like where you might not be showing up as the best version of yourself. I have just purchased another one of these bad boys. I am obsessed with these planners. They're called the Legend Planner. You can buy them on Amazon. This is my 3rd one of these and I just fucking love them so much. Like, they're amazing. They give you like little journal prompts at the beginning, so it'll ask you what brings you joy and good feelings in life, what are you most passionate about, what would I do if money wasn't an issue, what is most important in my life, what are my personal core values, what do I want to give back to the world. All of these different prompts, I've been filling it in, and getting clear on all of these things and connecting back with yourself and what you actually want for your life is so underrated, but it's so important. I think a lot of the time when we're in a rut, we're feeling uninspired and we don't really know which direction to go in, and we don't know the action steps that we need to take to get out of it because we don't know what we want to do. But when you get really crystal clear on what it is that you value in life and what you want to achieve in life, whether or not you know what your set goals are or not, I think just having all of those things at the forefront of your mind is going to allow you to take more inspired action and do things that make you feel good and get you to the point where you want to be and essentially get you out of the rut. If you're going to listen to any of the tips in this video, you need to listen to this one and follow this one because I think this is personally the most important thing. If you are disconnected from yourself, you are disconnected from everything and you are really going to struggle to be inspired and have motivation to do anything because you'll just think, what's the point? What am I even doing this for? You'll just be living life in autopilot and you'll be living life for other people because you're not checking in with yourself and how you actually feel. You need to know how you feel in order to go about your life in a confident and self-assured way. And like I say, over the summer, I have not been as connected with myself as I usually would be, and it has allowed me to be really lax with my boundaries and just kind of live for everyone else and try and please everybody else and fit into everybody else's schedule rather than my own, and rather than what feels good for me, because I've not been checking in with myself. I've not been asking myself, are you okay? And it's so easily done. I feel like people will shame you for this and make you feel really bad for being a people pleaser or whatever, but it's so easy to do this when you're not connected with yourself. And I think if you're not making it a daily conscious practice, you are probably going to fall back into your default factory settings of people pleasing and basically just being the person that you don't want to be anymore. And number 5 is to frequent new places and do different things. Sometimes it really is as simple as just changing up your instant environment that you're in right now. Maybe you can't move house right now and that's okay, but maybe you can get out of the house for an hour and you can go to a park, you can walk around the park, you can go to a bookstore, you can go see a friend, you can switch up your environment and do something different. I think it's actually a really good tip to frequent, is that how you say it? To go to new places that you've never been before. So say for example, you usually go to a certain Tesco to do your food shop, but instead of doing that, go into a different one. This might sound like a really pointless and silly tip and you might think, oh well, what's that gonna do? But it actually does a lot. When you are kind of following your intuition a little bit and just taking like different routes to work or going to a different supermarket, going to a different petrol station, you are for one getting yourself out of your comfort zone in tiny little achievable ways, and 2, you are actually probably going to put yourself in positions that you wouldn't have put yourself in before. So you might go to a different Tesco on that Saturday and you might bump into somebody who completely changes your life and completely changes your perspective by saying one thing. Or you might go to that different petrol station and you come across a little old lady who says the sweetest little thing and lights up your day. You never know what is out there unless you start kind of just getting in motion a little bit and changing things up and doing different things. When we are trying to be the best version of ourselves and create the life that we want, we have to get into the habit of doing uncomfortable things and doing things that kind of make our brain not second guess, but make our brain actually go into conscious mode where we're actually thinking about what we're doing rather than just being on autopilot and just doing what we usually do. Snapping our brain into conscious prefrontal cortex mode is gonna help you get out of your rut because you're being a lot more conscious and you're thinking about things more. And I promise you, the more you start to do these tiny little things, the more you are gonna feel like you have more energy to do even more things. If you've been feeling like you're in a rut recently, I have been feeling that way too, and I think my last couple of videos, or a couple of videos that I've done recently, really articulate how I've been feeling. So if you just want to sit and listen to someone who you feel like you might be able to relate to, then I have videos linked maybe somewhere on the page. If you enjoyed this video or you found anything in it helpful at all, please let me know down in the comments and like this video, and obviously subscribe if you want to subscribe. But yeah, thank you so much for watching and I will see you in my next video.